Welcome to Talking Tactics, a podcast that gets you results. Each episode features a single tactic, implemented with limited resources, that move the needle in some way. I'm your host, Demishkevich, Vice President of Strategy at Ology, a marketing and branding agency for education. Join me every other week for discussions with some of the most clever folks in higher ed worldwide, doing the work day to day, just like you. Talking Tactics is part of the Enrollify network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites linked in the show notes. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, a leading AI-powered, all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Check them out at element451.com. Hello, everyone. Guess what time it is? It is time to talk tactics. You are going to recognize my guest today as a fellow Enrollify creator. Maya Demishkevich was the host of The Hidden Gem, and she's with me today to share one of her most effective tactics. She's going to explain how she helped triple enrollment in a continuing education course by creating a more personalized email sequence. For those of you who need a refresher, Maya is the CMO at Carroll Community College and also the founder of College Crusader, which provides strategic marketing and social media consulting. Welcome to Talking Tactics, Maya.
Thanks, Dave. It's so fun to be here and always fun talking to you.
Yes, I agree. It's also kind of fun to be on the guest side of things, I find, right?
I enjoy it, yeah.
Me too. All right, so let's jump into this tactic because you know I love an email tactic. Can you tell us what was the situation that you were trying to solve?
Mm-hmm. So at my college, and I know many community colleges in particular and other colleges have this department, it's called Business Training and Services. So they provide consulting, facilitation, custom training to local employers. And they also offer continuing education courses for employees at different organizations. So to promote those courses, what they would usually do is send emails to a database of prospects, one, maybe two emails at the most. And the challenge was that they couldn't get those classes to run. Normally, they would need at least 6 participants to register to break even, to make sense, to run the course. And they would put a lot of effort into creating courses, hiring faculty, creating curriculum, promoting them, yet to see them being canceled. So they would normally get 3 to 4 people interested in some of those classes. So we wanted to focus on creating more personalized communications to send to those people to get the enrollment up.
That's so heartbreaking for those 4 or 5 students who are interested and then, the course doesn't run, which this kind of reminds me of something completely unrelated. And I love sharing totally random anecdotes. Back in the day, I used to be a Zumba instructor. Folks know what Zumba is, right?
Yeah.
And oh my God, I wish I had a minimum attendance like to run the class, because there is nothing more awkward than running a Zumba class for one person. Oh my God. It was not okay. So anyways, I could have used your help to get my Zumba attendance up.
That is so fun. Yeah.
All right. So we wanted to get people interested so the class could run. What idea did you have to solve it?
Right. So the coordinator from Business Training and Services, who is responsible for sending communications and for managing client relations, she reached out to me and she asked to help with email marketing because of all of the things we just discussed. And we started with just one course, and it was Financial Bootcamp for Nonprofits. This course would normally get 3 to 4 people interested and would be offered 3 times a year. But in the last 3 years, it only ran once. So we wanted to see how can we get more people to register. So I suggested that we do a sequence of emails, 4 specifically, 3 weeks before the class starts.
Okay. 3 weeks before the class starts. That feels like a really immediate timeline. Can you talk us through how you came up with that strategy and why that suggestion?
So the goal was to increase efficiency and enrollment. And The coordinator who was working on sending those communications, she didn't have any specific marketing training or email marketing training. So I wanted to make sure that we get her to the point where she's self sufficient. She can send those communications on her own because, as a centralized marketing department, we support the whole institution. So we can only be there so much. So I saw my role as more of a consultant and a teacher in this case. And the first thing what we did is we reviewed their previous communications because we wanted to see what has been done that did not work and identify opportunities for improvement. I also wanted to focus more on understanding who the target audience is for this particular course, what their goals are, pain points, motivations, etc. So once we took a look and identified that there's a lot of things we can do to improve, and most of those professionals, they don't plan a year ahead, right? Something comes up, they see it's interesting, and it was a perfect time to do it because it was January of 2024, and it's the time for them to start their financing and the planning for the following
budgeting.
year.
Yeah.
For nonprofits. So the timing was great.
Good. Okay.
And we had about 4 weeks to get this out of the door and get them enrolled. So what we did is every week leading to the enrollment date, we would send one email. The first 3 focused on benefits, what will they gain from the class, some logic like rational explanation, why it's important for them, some proof points about students, testimonials, how it was successful for other students. And then the last one was sent a week before, which played more into the fear of missing out, sort of urgency, limited availability. So that was the plan. And then I can walk you through some of the improvements that we did and how we structured those emails.
Yeah, I would love to hear, like a before and after situation. How was it? And then what did you actually implement? Because from a strategy point of view, this sounds really smart. And I love that you grounded it in like the audience and how quickly they act. But I think what happens a lot with teams is they think, well, we're sending the emails, but hey, not all emails are made equal. So
yes,
talk us through what changed.
So one thing that we changed was frequency. The coordinator was kind of afraid to send 4 emails. She's like, well, that feels a lot. I'm like, really? No, it's not.
It's really not.
It's not a lot. Because previously she would send one communication out and then hope that people register. But we know that doesn't work. So frequency has been changed. Most of the emails previously were a copy and paste of a course. So it's a title and description. So obviously it's more of here's what's coming up without any introduction, no signature. So we wanted to make sure that it's more personalized, it's more human, conversational, yet professional. So we changed the language and the tone of the copy of the email. We also added signature at the bottom. So it was actually a person inviting you to attend this course. So that felt more personal. It also helps establish trust that a real person is sending you this invitation. We also focused on making the subject and pre-header stronger, leading with the benefit, enticing them to open, enticing curiosity to click on and read what's inside. Because we spent some time to understand the audience, we wrote copy that appealed to their motivations and their goals. We clearly highlighted the benefits. We formatted the email, shorter paragraphs, more bullets, headers, subheaders, added some white space and some more breathing room because they were so like tight. It was hard to focus and read. And then we included several calls to action. So instead of having just maybe one button at the bottom, we included at least 2 to 3 links to a landing page where they can register. And those links included call to action written in a slightly different way. So the first link could be more about curiosity. The second one might use more logic and rationale. The third one may be more about emotion. So these are more like structural. But when we wrote copy, I applied some of the learnings from one of my favorite sales book. It's called Triggers. I don't know if you've ever read
I
it.
have not.
It's an older book. I think it was published in 2014 by Joseph Sugarman.
Mhm.
And the title it's called Triggers, 30 Sales Tools You Can Use to Control the Mind of Your Prospect to Motivate, Influence, and Persuade. And that's exactly what we are doing here.
That's
We
what
want
we
to
do.
motivate
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
register. So, and the book is very cool because it outlines psychological and emotional triggers that influence a purchasing decision. And I think marketing is all about psychology, right? So the more we understand the audience, what motivates them, the easier for us to kind of show why they should register. To give you an idea of, some of the triggers in this book, there's 30 different ones. So we didn't apply all of them because that would be too many. But one of them, for example, is hope of gain. So giving people hope that the product, the service, the course will solve the problem will definitely encourage them to purchase. So in our copy, we showed that we understand what they're struggling with and demonstrated how this particular course will help them address this challenge. So the copy might sound something like financial professionals in nonprofits encounter specific challenges. And then we would outline what the challenges are, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, they get us. Like, they understand what challenges we face. And then we would follow by, here's how our class can make a difference for you. And then we outline the benefits of the course as just an example. Another one, which I really like to use, is consistency. So this one is people prefer to remain consistent with the past behaviors and commitments. The copy was, you've dedicated your career to making a meaningful impact in the nonprofit sector. However, navigating the financial landscape can be a unique and challenging journey. That's why we created this training designed specifically for professionals like you who are committed to making a difference. So, in this case, by calling them a dedicated individual in the nonprofit sector, encourages them to internally agree with this identity. So, like, okay, yeah, I am dedicated. I've been here
Yeah.
making an impact for a long time. And once they agree that they are this particular identity, they're more likely to act in a way that aligns with this identity. So, because the course is for professionals who are dedicated, now they're
Yeah.
more likely to register because they assume this particular identity. So,
Wow.
that's kind of a cool way to use this tactic.
I mean, I'm buying this book right now.
Yeah.
I'm sold. You just sold a trigger.
Yeah, there you go.
That's so smart. I mean, obviously, you are such a clever marketer. This is really smart. I love the idea of the structuring with 3 different links too, because part of it is consistency, part of it is repetition, and it ties into that same frequency argument you made earlier. Like, it takes more than one time asking someone to do something for them to do it. If you have the same link in the email 3 times, like by the third time they read it, they might be convinced, right? So I love that. Okay, so it ended up being the sequence of emails instead of one gigantic block of text. Did you encounter any challenges, or do you have any kind of words of caution for folks who might be trying to change their content this way?
I didn't really have any challenges per se. We did have challenges with our CRM, and our reporting was acting up. And for some emails, we had like 110% open rate, which obviously is
No, Maya,
impossible.
that was you. That's not a glitch.
Yeah.
That's your
We broke the
tactic.
system. I mean, that's what the team was laughing about. They're like, well, that's the Maya's method.
Yes.
CRM can't handle it. So that's why we couldn't specifically track, like, let's say, improvements in conversion or click-through rate. I do have some data for some of the emails, but in general, I was more focused on registrations because this was an isolated email. Nothing else was going out. We haven't promoted this course in any other way. It was really easy to make the attribution. So if we have a registration, it means they came from this particular email.
Yeah, that's honestly, and that's such a great way to think about measuring email success, especially today where open rates, who knows what they're telling us, and people might not click on your link, but they might Google you after, right? So Um, can you share with us then what the results were that you did see?
The open rate was slightly above average, 35%. And then the click-through rate was 9 to 11% on those
Oh,
emails.
that's really high.
I think the average is like 2 to 3%.
Yes,
right?
that's really high. Yeah.
But then again, who knows?
Who knows? But, when
Who knows?
we can say it's high and then...
Yeah, so that's what I saw in the system. And then we got 11 registrations within 4 weeks for this particular class, and it did run. And then I got an email from the director saying, "Thank you very much for your help with the financial bootcamp for nonprofits. We are now at 11 registrants."
Wow.
Unheard of for us. Clearly, the changes you made are responsible. Might you be willing to give us a quick tutorial on email best practices so we can leverage them moving forward? Would love to replicate this course's enrollment success for other classes we offer. So that was super cool, right? Like you do something and you see immediate feedback and response. So we did do the training, which was, I think, very helpful because they were able to then be more self-sufficient, and with some additional coaching and reviewing in the beginning, they just hit the ground running.
Wow. I mean, and like that's the win, right? Like that's the long-term win. You said this at the beginning, like you are acting as a consultant, as the CMO on your campus, because you can't do it all yourself, right? But you establish this incredible trust in you and central marketing, right? You gave them the tools they needed to replicate the success. And I'm pretty sure now they speak so highly of you anywhere, right? I mean, and marketing and how it can help. So what a success.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
no, it was great. And I know one of the questions you had was about AI. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but because we did use AI for this. And it was in January of 2024. So that's when ChatGPT was kind of gaining ground. Traction. Yeah. So I was using it, but the coordinator was not.
Right.
So as part of the training, I also taught her how to use Bing.
Yeah.
Because that's what we use at the college. And she loved it. She's like, "Oh my God, this makes my job so much easier." Because before she would have to think about what to say. And at that time, because we didn't have like custom GPTs, or we couldn't upload anything. So what I did is just a list of all the triggers. And then she would, in her description or prompt, would say, "Use the following triggers to, But now you can all like do a custom GPT, and now it's all easier."
Do you have your own custom GPT built based on these triggers?
I don't, because I'm not writing a lot of emails right now, but I would if I were doing marketing.
Wow. This is going to be my homework. I'm getting this book. I am reading it, and I am I am learning how to use these triggers. That's amazing.
Another trigger that I liked, let me see, there was, and this one is a big one, and I think a lot of colleges would appreciate, is people have a desire to belong, right? To be part of something bigger. So instead of adding a button that says register now, right, which is usually what people say, we said join us. Join us. So that's a warmer, more inclusive way to invite people to join a group who shares a similar goal. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, how I love that. And I love the idea of them feeling like they're joining other nonprofit leaders, right? It's like, well, yeah, we're in this together. And it's so much more powerful than...
And it also makes them feel like join us implies that others are already part of this experience. Like somebody has already joined. So you're joining others. So small things like this make such a big difference. I think I would have enjoyed being an email marketer, because you can do so much testing and see results, right away.
And that exactly, like I like to say, like email is a testing playground, right? And that's the beauty of it. You can even split your lists and try different things at the exact same time, and you can learn and you can iterate and you can prove, and it's so low cost. So anyway, everybody knows I'm a huge email fan, and I love tactics like this. So thank you so much for bringing this one to the show.
Of course.
And also for sharing, the triggers and all that kind of intelligence behind it too. Thank you, Maya.
You're welcome.
So if folks want to contact you and maybe ask some more questions, where can they find you?
LinkedIn is the best way to find me. It's just my name on LinkedIn, so follow me.
And we will link your LinkedIn in the show notes so folks can find that easily. All right. Well, thanks so much. That is the end of our episode today. And to our listeners out there, please follow and subscribe to keep walking the walk and talking the tactics. The Talking Tactics podcast is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions pros find their next big idea and feature a selection of the industry's bests as your hosts, like Jamie Hunt, Allison Tercio, Jenny Lee Fowler, Jeremy Tiers, and so many of your other favorite leaders in higher ed too. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered, all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Check them out at element451.com.